Okay, yesterday we have observed how to populate data to work area and how to add records to the internal table and how to display the data from the internal table by using loop statement, right? So we can process internal table records only through work area one by one. Okay, when you use loop statement, the loop statement will repeat the records or internal table records one by one, right? So the loop count depends on the number of records in an internal table, right?
Yes, sir.
If you have 10,000 records in an internal table, how many times that loop will execute?
10,000 times.
10,000 times. And whatever the functionality you implemented in between that loop and end loop, how many times that will execute?
Based on the records of the internal table.
10,000 times, right?
Okay, sir.
So today we'll see how to select data from database tables, right? And I'll give you some basic details about how to check the tables. Again, we'll take in detailed session on database tables, creation of database tables in another session. Okay. So today I'll give you some basic details about how to check the database tables, and we're going to see how we are going to select the data from database tables into work area and internal table. Okay. Is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We call that concept as data dictionary. In data dictionary, we work with tables. Okay. That's called data dictionary, and in short, we also call DDIC. Okay. DDIC table nothing but database table in SAP. Okay. So let's take one table. Let's assume this is one database table. So let's say there is a database table available. The table name is some employee underscore data. So the table name is employee data. But if it is a custom table, it should start with Z. Okay. Will be having standard tables provided by SAP as well as custom tables created as per our own requirements. Correct. So if it is a custom table, what we created, it should starts with Z or
Yes.
Y, right? If it is a standard table, you'll be not having Z or Y. And in this table, let's assume it's a custom table. There is no difference. Technically, there is no difference. Um, E100 phone, some phone number, HYD. So let's assume these are all the database records available in this table in database. So what is the difference between database table and internal table?
Table can store permanent.
Yes. And internal table is temporary, only during the program runtime. Okay.
Temporary
But database table can
runtime.
store the data permanently in the database. Now in the program, we have a requirement to read the employee data from database table. Now how to read data from database into program? Once we read the program, where we can store the data in the program? In data objects. That might be a single variable, work area, or internal table. Right? In the program runtime, we can store the data selected from database in these data objects during the program runtime. First, let's see how to select the data from database table into our program. Let's say I have a requirement to select a specific employee record. Let's say I have to select only one specific employee record every time. I don't need all the employees. That program is going to deal with only a single employee every time, right? Input for the program is only single input, that is employee ID. Now, how many records we need to select from this employee table? Only
4.
record that is specific to that particular employee, right? In this
Yes.
case, we need to select only single record.
Run.
For example,
Yes,
let's
sir.
assume this employee
Field
ID is a
record.
primary key. Let's assume this employee ID as a it is a primary key field. What is it mean by primary key? So yeah, anyway, I'll explain in detail when we are working with the table creation. But for now, I'll give you some details. Let's assume employee ID is a primary key field. What do you mean by primary key? So by primary key, you should not have any duplicate records, right? You should not have one more employee ID record E100 in the same table, right? There should be only one unique record. So the primary key will uniquely identify the records, right? It won't allow duplicate records by that primary key. If your employee ID is the primary key, you can have only one record with that primary key field. No duplicates are allowed. Okay.
Sir.
So every table should have at least one primary key. And what are the maximum number of limit? How many primary keys will be having in a table? Maximum 16 primary keys you can use. Okay, you can use maximum 16 primary keys. At least one primary key is mandatory, right? The records are depends on the primary key combination. If you take only one primary key, you can see duplicate records. If you see combination of fields, that might be a unique record. Okay. For example, if you take a city as primary key in your table, city is a primary key. Now tell me, is there duplicate records in the table or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hyderabad,
Duplicate.
Hyderabad, two repeated entries. These are duplicates. If you take only city as primary key, it will accept only one record with Hyderabad.
City name.
Okay.
Huh. It won't accept one more record with the same city if city is the only primary key,
Okay, sir.
right? But if you take city and employee ID both as primary keys,
Then also city
now
won't be
tell
there.
me, is there any duplicate record in the table? Now city and employee ID both are primary keys.
No, sir. Because employee have different name, no, sir.
Now how it will check? It will check the entry like
The
this.
employee ID and city.
It's combination of both. It will check, right? That
Yes, sir.
combination should not repeat. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Employee
sir.
ID 100 Hyderabad, employee ID 100 Hyderabad should not repeat. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Combination should not repeat. If you take both two fields as primary key, if you take three fields as primary key, that three fields combination should not repeat again, right? We'll be having record with the different combinations. For example, 100 now tell me, is there any duplicate records in these entries? Let's assume employee ID, name and city are
No,
the
sir.
primary keys in our table. Is there any duplicate records here?
No, sir.
No, everyone is a unique record. Observe this combination.
Yes,
100,
sir.
name of 100, Hyderabad. This is one record. 100, name of 100, and
Chennai.
city is different here. 100, name of 200, Hyderabad. Here name is different, right?
Either
So,
of one should be different.
then it is not a duplicate record. When the combination is repeated, then we can say that is a duplicate record. Let's assume if you take same combination 100, name of 100, Hyderabad. This is a duplicate record. If you have three primary keys,
Yes, sir.
if you have only one primary key, that field value should not repeat. Okay. Here, if you take employee ID as primary key, employee ID should not repeat. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's see how to select data from database table into our program. Okay. Let's assume the first example, we need only one field. We need to know the phone number of the employee ID. So that program accepts the employee ID as input and returns the phone number as output, right? Now how many
Yes.
fields we need in this table? Do we need
Two.
to select all the fields in that case?
Two. Employee ID and phone number.
Yeah. Do we need employee name and city? No, right?
No.
We just need phone number. Why should we unnecessarily select the other two fields?
Okay, sir.
So where the data actually resides in the database, right?
Yes, sir.
So the application layer should interact with the database layer, and the connection should open, and it needs to select the data, and it needs to transfer the data to application layer, right?
Yes, sir.
If the data size is limited, then transfer will be faster, right? From database to application layer.
Yes, sir.
If we select only one field, that is phone number, the data will be around 1 KB. Let's assume the data size is 1 KB. If we select all the fields unnecessarily, employee name and city, the data size might be 5 KBs, right?
Mm.
So which one is faster? Transferring 1 KB data is faster, or transferring 5 KB data is faster?
1 KB is
1 KB is
faster.
faster. So that we can improve the program performance. Okay, program will execute very faster if you select only required fields instead of selecting unnecessary fields from the database table. Okay, now how to select only that required fields from database into our program? In the program, what we need to write? We need to write.
Select the statements.
So we need to write select statement to select the data from database into
Database.
program. So there are different types of select statements. We'll see one by one. Okay, in which scenario we write which type of select statement.
Database.
Okay, so the type of select statements are select single, star, select single, select single with required fields. Okay, observe the difference. Select single star and select single with required fields. What do you mean by star? When you use select
All
single star, what we are saying, hey, select one record,
Okay.
one particular record with all the fields. Star means all the fields. Employee ID, name, phone number and city, all the fields. Okay, but one record, one single record, right? Hey, select employee ID 101 record with all the fields. That means employee ID, employee name, phone number and city. Select single with required fields. What we are saying here? Hey, select a single record, employee ID 101, but I need only fields, employee ID and phone number. Okay. Select and select star, select star and select etc. Now, what is select star?
select all the
All
fields.
the database
Select
table.
all the fields. Star means all the fields. Whenever you see star, that means you are
All
going to
the
select all the fields of a table. Let's say there are 100 fields in the table. If you use star, you are going to select all the 100 fields.
Okay, sir.
and also, sir, do we need to give table name? Means from which table it should select the data.
Yeah, sure. I am
Yeah.
just showing you. I'm trying to give you the differences. Okay,
Okay.
we'll write a statement now. What is select required fields? So I'm saying I
One
need
and
only
three.
specific fields. I don't want all the fields.
For
But what is the
example,
difference between select single and select star? Select single means you are saying, hey, I need one particular record. I'm expecting
Particular
a
record.
particular record, one single record from the table. That is this record, employee ID 100. Please select that record, right? If you select
yes,
single, it will select that particular record with all the fields. If you select single with the required fields, it will select that particular record with only required fields, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is select star and select with required fields? When we use this, when we need to select more than one record, right? More than one record into program. There might be one record or more than one record, multiple records, right? At that time we use a select star or select with required fields. It will select multiple records with all the fields when we use star, or only required fields when we use required fields. So what is the example for this select star? I wanted to select employees from Hyderabad location. I wanted to select all the employee records who belongs to Hyderabad. Now tell me how many records we have for Hyderabad city.
two, sir.
Two records we have. So that it's going to select two records, right?
Okay.
So in this case, do we need to use select single star or select star?
Select star.
Select star we need to use, and if you want only required fields, use only those specific
Field.
fields.
1 and 4.
Yeah, whatever the fields you want.
Okay, sir.
But here what is the condition? City is the condition. If you take city as input, you are going to find multiple records on the same city, right?
Yes, sir.
But when you take select single, here we need to provide employee ID as input, right?
Yes.
If you provide city as input, how many records you are going to find? You can also you can use any field in the condition, right? You can use any field in the condition. Let's assume you take city as condition. How many records you are going to find for city? Is it a
Three
primary key
required.
field?
No.
City is not a primary key field. That means repeated entries are possible. Repeated values are possible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you're going to find multiple records for example, if you take Hyderabad, if you can find multiple records. But here you need to select the single record, right?
Yes, sir.
Which record it needs to select? The first record or the fourth record? If you pass Hyderabad as a country,
Employee ID.
which record it needs to select? It is able to find two
First
records with the
record.
First,
same city. So whenever you are using select single, it is mandatory to pass a primary key in the condition. Okay, that's
okay,
why
sir.
it is able to find that exact record. Okay, if you pass employee ID 100, there is only one record with employee ID 100, it will select that record, right? So for select single, what is mandatory? Passing primary
Primary
key
key
field
field.
in the condition. That
Primary
is
key.
mandatory. Okay. So what is the data object we use to select a single record from database? Work area.
Work area.
Work area is the suitable object. So we are selecting single record, right?
Yes, sir.
This is mandatory for select single. Okay.
Oh, okay. Where?
So what is our data object we use? To select multiple
Internal table.
records, we need to use internal tables. So internal tables can handle more than one record, right?
Yes, sir.
And in the record, how many fields you are selecting is depends on select star or required fields. If you want all the fields, use select star. If you want only required fields, use
Select
select
fields.
individual field names. Define the
Yes.
field names. Okay. Now, how to write the statement? Select single star from the table name. Select single star from Z employee data into work area name. First, you need to define the work area to use here. Okay. And the where condition. What is the use of where condition? To filter the data, to select that exact record where empid equal to, you can pass the parameter or you can hard code the value like this. For example, E100, or you can define a parameter and you can pass the parameter here. For example, p underscore empid. Okay. Now select only required fields. I don't want all the fields of the record. I don't want all the fields. I need only required fields. How to write that? Instead of star, select single empid space. For example, we need phone number, phone from table into work area where employee ID equal to parameter name, whatever the employee ID you want. Now tell me, when you are selecting all the records, all the fields of the record from the table, what is the data, what is the work area reference we have to take?
Select single star.
When you are selecting a single record with all the fields, how to define the work area? We need to define the work area, right? Before using here,
Yes,
we need to take table reference. Work area type this table. If you are selecting select star, select single star, you need to define work area with complete table reference, right?
Yes, sir.
But if you are selecting only few fields, only required fields, then what is the option? So here we don't take table
EMPID.
reference. We create a type structure with required fields and create the work area. with reference to the type structure. You know, right, how to create a type structure? For example, like this. If you are selecting all the fields, your work area declaration will be like this. Work area and internal table. It applies to the both work area and internal table.
Work area data
Type
and structure of
Z employee
employee
underscore
data.
data. So this is how, when you are using star, select single star or select star like this. Now, when you are selecting only required fields, what you need to do?
For
First, you need to create a type structure. And define the fields what you need. EMPID, type, what is the relevant data type? Okay. And phone, type, some numeric, and length you have to pass. End of ty underscore data. Now define work area with reference to this type structure. Okay. This is the difference. The first one is when you are selecting all the fields using select star. The second one is when you are selecting only required fields. How the internal table declaration? Data, IT underscore data, when you are selecting more than one record using select star or select with required fields. TY underscore data. This is how you need to define internal table when you need to select only required fields from the table, right? What about work area? So sorry. What about internal table when you need to select all the fields for star? You need to write statement like this: data, IT underscore data, type,
Type Z employee.
standard table of
Okay.
Z demo. Sorry,
Table name.
Z employee underscore data. So when you are going to write this, when you need to select all the fields and multiple records, right? Clear? This is how you need to define work area and internal table. Depends on the data selection. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, so this is the condition. If you need to use select single statement, what is the condition we need to follow? We should pass primary key fields in the where condition. That is mandatory. Okay. Then only it can identify the specific record, right? You are asking the system to select single record, and if there are multiple records available with your condition, then which record it needs to select? That is not the proper way, right? You should pass the condition like which is going to select the specific single record. So when that will happen? When you pass all the primary key fields. Okay.